This episode of Ringer Reality TV Podcast is brought to you by Diet Coke. Let's face it, there are times when we may get a little too invested in our favorite reality shows. And that's when you need to pause and take a Diet Coke break to get back to reality. Shouting at your TV because your fave hate watch just keeps being nasty? Take a sip. Hiding behind pillows from too much cringe? Take a sip. Even getting a little too deep researching people's backgrounds? Please, take a sip. Diet Coke. Make time for you time. Welcome to Morally Corrupt, a show here on the Ringer Reality feed. I'm Rachel Lindsay. She's Chelsea Stark-Jones.
Yes, she is.
Let's hop into it. It's time for the news of the week, brought to you by Diet Coke. Chelsea, turning on your faves, agreeing with the villains. You might just need a Diet Coke break. For now, let's get into the news of the week. Luann was on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
I know that the Love Hotel is on, but or just Love Hotel, I did what Black people do. We put the in front of everything. I really, until I just looked down at this rundown, thought it was the Love Hotel. Love Hotel just sounds so incomplete to me.
Yeah, it needs a the.
So bear with me as I go back and forth between Love Hotel and the Love Hotel. But Luann was on Watch What Happens Live promoting it, and I don't know why, but I know we can catch her now Sunday nights. Is that when it comes on?
Sundays, yes.
But I feel like we haven't seen her in forever.
Yeah,
in that way.
Crappy Lake,
which I did not watch.
I didn't watch either.
People loved it. You have to pick and choose, right? Like you have to balance it out. I can't watch everything. But it was like good, refreshing to see her in that space because it is a live show or taped to live, however you want to refer to it. It's both. But she had an odd moment, which is not odd for Luann.
Yeah.
But she had a moment where she took it upon herself to give the Pope a message. I mean, I know that she is not Italian, but she speaks.
She's American.
She was married to an Italian.
Yeah.
No, I meant of Italian descent.
Okay.
No. I just meant like in her ethnicity, maybe Italian. I know she's not from there. But she married an Italian. She speaks French. I'm assuming she speaks Italian as well. But whichever way, she feels very connected to Italy and to Italians. And she took it upon herself to give the Pope a message, who recently passed away, where she said, and I quote, "The Pope just passed away. Rest in peace, darling." While putting her hands together in a prayer symbol and looking to the sky. And I think I speak for everybody when I say that was unnecessary.
Like, darling?
Darling. You had no personal relationship with the Pope, even though you did reveal on Watch What Happens Live that someone did ask you to have sex in a church, to which you denied or declined doing. But I guess maybe that makes you feel holy, that you decided not to fornicate in the church.
Do you believe that?
That she was asked to have sex in a church?
No, I believe that. Do you think she denied it?
I think she denied it.
Okay.
I think she denied it.
Okay. I don't know. You know, I am going to give Love Hotel a chance.
Okay.
I think I'll give it a few more episodes so I could binge it through. But yeah, it is nice to see Luann. And I feel like I don't have that feeling of not missing her so much as I see her all the time on the internet. And
Oh, do you?
Oh, on Twitter, the cabaret shows, this. Like, she is keeping herself busy.
Good for her.
Away from Housewives and still relevant in the space. So, yeah, it is good for her, at least amongst the RHOM legacy cast, you know? So yeah, I think it's great. And, you know, the Pope appreciates her well wishes. And yes, I don't know.
Is she Catholic? Do we know?
No,
I mean, you can obviously respect the position and what the Pope represents, but I wouldn't have done that. I
What would you have said?
Well, I wouldn't have said anything. But you know, again, she does feel a connection to the country, so maybe she is Catholic. I don't know. I've been to, what is it called?
The Vatican?
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
I've been to the Vatican. And it's beautiful. And I felt I wanted to go. I mean, I've been to Rome, But I wouldn't have said anything. But to
Godspeed.
Godspeed. Godspeed. It's just interesting that she coupled with, sending her well wishes and, honoring the Pope, which beautiful, to then backdoor that, no pun intended, with I was asked to have sex in the church.
Yeah,
Like she
you need to keep
Luanned it.
thy holiness separate from your sex capades. Yeah.
Right. Moving on, we've got some filming news.
Mm-hmm.
Potomac is apparently back at it.
Yeah.
They're filming. I believe they started
last week.
They started last week. Yeah, they started last week. And Giselle was spotted feuding with Stassi, which is no surprise, right? Because Giselle was one of Stassi's biggest critics on the reunion, really calling Stassi out for hypocrisy, for not believing her story with TJ. So I am looking forward to this. I'm glad we're picking up where we left off and not just brushing it under the rug. I think a lot of what Stassi said didn't make a lot of sense. And we saw Giselle on Watch What Happens Live with Portia.
Yep.
And she made it seem like Stassi was not telling the truth with TJ.
Yeah, there's apparently receipts.
And I am thrilled for that. Like, I hate when we're left with a cliffhanger and we never get back to it.
Yeah.
Please understand the assignment.
So I guess, like, do you think Stassi is afraid to be back, knowing, like, that these women know her hustle, her game about paying this man?
No, because still I rise. And it was in that moment at the reunion that I realized
she's delulu.
She's delusional. She's not just delusional. She has a very inflated sense of self. To sit there with your head held high and to quote the late, great Maya Angelou, when it was not applicable for you to say, still I rise, that's very Kenya Moore-esque.
Yes.
That's very Kenya Moore coded.
Yeah.
And it was in that moment that I was like, oh, I see who Stassi is. So, and we loved Stassi. Love Stassi. I'm not going to say past tense on Morally Corrupt. And I think a lot of people were complimentary of her until the reunion.
Yeah.
And she wants to get back to that place with the audience.
Graces.
So no.
But how can one do that when, according to Giselle, there's proof that you paid this person to come on the show? Like, how can she weasel her way back into the good graces of the viewers?
Delusion is a disease. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no logic behind it. And what you're doing is trying to apply logic to the situation,
I'm just trying
Chelsea.
to see, like, how can she come out of this successfully? Like,
it makes no sense. The one thing I can say is maybe she thinks that she's doing a balancing act here. I don't know if she's a Libra or not, but she's weighing the scales here. And she's trying to say maybe she's banking on people will like her more than they like TJ. People like her enough to and despise TJ more to where the scale will balance out in her favor.
Do you think TJ will come back a la like John Jansen or Ralph and have his own confessional and tell his truth?
I hope so, because the sky's the limit with this, because they just started filming. So stuff could start leaking out to TJ. She could start stuff on, like, if I'm one of the housewives and I'm anti-Stassi, I'm going to get on my social constantly saying, well, this is what she's saying about TJ, to possibly rile TJ up.
Get him going.
If Bravo's smart, pay the man.
Yeah.
Give the man some money. But
because she's not giving it.
And they may not want to for suspense purposes. So that's a bad precedent to start.
Yeah.
And Stassi is a good housewife, whether you believe her or not. And they might not want to taint that to the point where, then people look at her in a different way.
Yeah.
So it's probably best that they don't. I just want to see TJ on there.
Yeah. Well, you might get that. I'm excited that they're already back to filming.
The way to do it, and Ashley, I'm talking to you, is you need to once again perform under whatever the name was that she did, where she was a drag king.
Who? Stassi?
Or Ashley was.
Oh, yes.
And you need to host a brunch.
Uh-huh.
And who better to host it than TJ?
Okay.
And then when TJ's there, Like TJ, you could pay TJ to host it. That's why Bravo doesn't have to do
And make
it.
sure that you show that you paid him, just
Right.
as the shade. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And maybe you pay him in the same way that Stassi did.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying, Ashley? And that way we can get TJ, he can get paid. Maybe he has the opportunity to tell his side.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's organic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Stassi, TJ did such a good job hosting the dog event with you, and you would agree, you asked him to host with you, that quite
He's a
naturally I
natural.
thought
Yeah.
we just keep it going.
That's a good way. You know what, Rachel? This is All Housewives. Please tune in because Rachel is always giving you tips, tricks
So I can't be wrong.
on how to maneuver the housewife life, the Bravo life.
Yeah.
Yes, please tune in.
Thank you, Chelsea.
You're welcome. I'm excited that they already started filming, that they aren't waiting for Karen, which I think we already said they wouldn't be doing. However, Karen's apparently like running the jail that she's in.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Giselle said that also on the Watch What Happens Live with Portia, that Karen is doing great. The ladies love her in jail.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah. and that it seems like most women are still in touch with her except for Wendy. So I wonder if anything Karen related will trickle through. If we'll see Ray at all in the season of Potomac. Check in on him, see how he's doing.
Ray is kicking up his feet somewhere, enjoying the fact that he does not have to have cameras in his home. Not because Karen's gone, but just because he doesn't have cameras in his home. He doesn't have to film. He doesn't have to pretend.
You don't think Ray's going to come up on camera
Ray
and be like,
always seems
woe is
confused
me.
when he's on camera.
My poor wife, I miss her so much.
No, Ray always seems confused on camera. And I think he's going to enjoy the fact that that's something he doesn't have to do.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben for sure. In other filming news, we know that the Valley reunion filmed last week quite early. And we have a seating chart, of course, right next to Andy. He is in between Jax and Brittany.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes Kristen and Jesse. Shocking it's not Michelle. Makes me think that Kristen and Jesse still have a good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then Luke,
Mm-hmm.
who is kind of unrecognizable to me in this photo.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like him. But
You've got Janet. So this is what I will say is interesting about them filming so early, is it kind of alludes to where the season's going.
Well,
by the seating chart.
I will say I think they filmed it early because Kristen looks like she's about to have her baby soon.
Well, no, they did. For sure they did it for the pregnancies, but I'm saying they had to watch
everything.
I know I know for a fact they had to watch the season.
Yeah.
So based on the seating chart, I think you can tell how things are going.
Yes.
Are going to go. Like right now, Michelle is the farthest away. Like Michelle might as well be behind the camera at this seating chart. She's so far away. And she's across from Zach, which makes me think that Michelle is not, we're seeing drama now, but there's bigger drama.
Later on. Yeah, it really doesn't, that could play into it. If anything, I would bump her up and put her in front of Nia, because I understand why Kristen and Luke are up there and they have to be next to each other because they're still together as a couple. The other side of the couch makes sense to me. Jax, Jesse, Janet, her husband, Jasmine, Zach.
Well, it looks like they put the couples together.
Yes.
So if that's the thing that they did, then Michelle had to be on the end. Unless she switched with Jasmine.
I would switch her with Nia and Danny. But to your point though, it does seem like we're going to have a lot more drama with Nia, Danny, Jasmine, which probably supersedes the drama that's happening now with Michelle.
Yeah.
So I watched Morally Corrupt on Friday with you and Jody, and one of the things that is confusing on the show, but they talked about it on the Valley After Show, which I annoyingly watch sometimes.
No judgment.
Is that so the butt slap that Danny did with Melissa, the inappropriate butt slap, happened Halloween this past year. The reason why Jasmine brought it up again on camera almost a year later is because apparently Danny was so drunk, he thought he slapped Michelle's butt, and he never really apologized to Melissa because he thought it was Michelle in which that he was inappropriate with. And so that's why Jasmine brought it up, because she's like, you apologized to Jax and Brittany because you did it at their bar. You apologized to everyone except for my girlfriend, Melissa. And that's why she brought it up on the show.
So who did he think Jasmine was? Because there's no equivalent.
Oh, no, he didn't.
When he said, get daddy a drink.
Oh, he knew Jasmine was who he was talking to
no,
when daddy wanted a drink.
Who else would it have been?
He knew that, but he didn't realize that it was Melissa, not Michelle, that he hit on the rear end.
I don't know if I believe that.
You think he got confused?
Both scenarios are bad. Either you were so messed up you didn't recognize your own wife, or two.
Well, Michelle, not Nia. He thought it was Jesse's ex-wife that he.
Oh, I thought it was Nia.
No. He thought, and
as if it makes it better.
I mean, they kind of look alike.
But why are you smacking somebody else's?
Why are you smacking any woman that is not your wife?
I'm glad you cleared that up. In my mind, I heard Nia, and it's like, okay, it doesn't make it any better. Now it's worse.
No, if he's smacking his wife's butt, that's what you should be doing. But smacking,
okay, well, that part I believe.
Smacking other women that is not your wife on the rear end ever is not a good look. So yeah. So Jesse. No, he's really fallen for me. Like I thought he was a nice guy last season. This season I don't. I'm sorry, not Jesse.
Danny?
Danny.
So you're pregnant. You're pregnant. You get a pass.
I get a pass. Thank God. I use the pregnancy thing a lot.
Well, it's a real thing.
Danny, he has fallen for me. I liked him last season. This year, I'm just like, he's a hot mess. The stuff with repeating the guys' group chat.
He's a busybody.
He's.
But think about it. I said this on Friday. He's talking to kids all day, and then if he's not, he's talking probably to Nia about the kids.
Yeah.
So to get a little gossip, to make his world a little, it's like he can't wait to tell. Who is he gonna tell? The babies?
Yeah.
I almost in that sense feel sorry for him. But Danny's never been my favorite.
No. And to Luke's credit, I think him going and telling the girls, it's a reality star move. He is engaged to a reality star queen. Like, she knows the game. If it's set on camera, it's fair game. So sure. I hold nothing against Luke for going and telling the girls, because it was set on camera, and at some point Michelle's going to see this.
Did he tell the girls or his wife?
I think Luke initially told Kristen in private, and Kristen was like, we have to say this.
Brought it up to
so when they said it to Brittany, and was it?
I think it was just Brittany.
Was it just Brittany? When they were getting ready for the Dave and Buster's birthday party. I think that's when, and Kristen acted surprised by like hearing it, but I think she already knew. But that's a pro move. You say something on camera, it has to get repeated.
And we thank you, Luke, for it.
Yeah.
We thank you for it.
Thank you for your service.
Okay, another last filming news. Southern Charm's filming again. Looks like they were filmed going to Madison's baby shower. Everybody's pregnant in Bravo World. And the ones that cover.
Mm-hmm.
Seen at the shower were Sally, Shep, Austin, Molly, Rod, Leva, Vanita, and Craig, and the surprise, Corey Kiefer.
Yes.
That's the interesting part to me. I expected all these people to be back and to be at Madison's baby shower. Corey Kiefer there, we don't know if he's going to be a part of the cast, but the fact that because he lives there.
He lives there. Yes.
He, like a Sally, who I do enjoy, seems to have been angling to be a part of this franchise, so it wouldn't be shocking.
Mm-hmm.
But, actually, to that I say yes.
Yes, to have him on?
Yes, because I miss some of the fuckery with the men, and Corey's going to give us that.
Yeah, Corey is going to give us that, and which makes me wonder why they didn't. Because he dated that girl Sam from Summer House, Corey.
Who's Sam?
She was the blonde
Sam.
girl.
Yeah.
Samantha, Sam.
Yeah.
She was a blonde girl from Summer House, one season wonder, which didn't make sense to me because she was what Summer House seemed to want to go in that direction of, is like young partying people. And so they met on, what was it, Winter House, I believe.
They met on Summer House.
I think whatever. So they dated. And then they broke up, I thought, like, why not keep Sam here? And I think Sam in the house with Wes and Jesse would make a lot of sense right now, especially with where it seems like they're trying to go. So like them kicking her having her just be a one-season wonder, it didn't make much sense to me.
There was something I didn't really care for about Sam.
Was it that she talked a lot? That was, like, the thing that, like
There was something that was, like, she
too
wasn't
much.
as likable as Alexi can be. Like,
Yeah.
there was something that didn't fit, and I can't remember clearly. You said Sam, and I said, "Who is that?" There was something that just didn't
Resonate with you.
gel right.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was trying too hard or it didn't make sense.
She also was someone that leaned a little bit more to the Lindsay side, and this was before the other girls were really, like, cool with Lindsay, so she
Mhm.
was really, like, a Lindsay friend, but with the Corey of it all, I'm surprised they kinda pushed him outside of this Bravo world also, like, and not kept him around, being that he lives in Charleston, and, like, he is Craig's, like, little bro in their fraternity or whatever, so there's a natural friendship there. So, like, why not kinda keep
He
him
didn't fit.
linked?
And maybe Craig said, "I don't want him there," because Craig
Eh,
was living a different life
and, he's a
and
far
he
worse
was
partier than Austin.
right, and he
Yeah.
was, like, settling into a different life, or so he thought with Paige. But now that Paige is gone and not Austin, Craig maybe doesn't wanna be at home in the same way.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna
makes sense to
call his
bring in
party bro.
Corey at least to, like, try to get Craig to
Yeah.
step into single life, even though Craig's been allegedly linked to a new woman now and seems to be in another
I
relationship
will
with
say I
her.
didn't love Corey's jewelry.
I didn't I wasn't somebody on Morally Corrupt, and stand up, whoever you are,
Mhm.
was so into Corey, thought Corey was really hot. I didn't get it.
I don't think that was me.
And
I'm trying to, like, rack my
I don't
brain.
wanna say the wrong
I don't
person.
think that was me.
It wasn't me. I didn't get the allure.
I saw him at BravoCon, and I was
Same.
like, "Ew." Like, the outfit that he was wearing, like, this thing with, like, no shirt under the suit and, like,
The
the
short
abs out.
pants and then no
Yeah.
socks, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was it's what you would expect.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, moving on, we got the trailer for Miami. It dropped. Some highlights from the trailer. First off, it looks great.
Mhm.
Second, it looks like that Alexia and Larsa's breakups are gonna be a huge focus of this season, which Alexia I'm more interested in. Larsa, I feel like that was so long
It feels like
ago.
centuries ago.
But if it is a back and forth, I'm interested in that. And she's allegedly dating a new, younger basketball player. So I'm more so interested in the Alexia of it, especially because we know that she and Todd are still together.
Together?
We just don't know
Yeah.
what the capacity of it is. But we see the clip where she learns that Todd ended their marriage when she returns home one day and finds that all of his stuff has gone wild. I feel like I'm not trying to relish in it, but we know that they're okay now, so I feel like I can. Like, I'm, like, chomping at the
I'm
bits to
very
see
intrigued
this.
by
I'm so
this.
curious.
Their dynamic is so strange to me.
Larsa says that Marcus sent her threatening text messages, which I'm fully expecting Larsa to demonize Marcus
Oh,
and
yeah.
have no responsibility in the downfall of the relationship, and I am not team Marcus or Larsa here, but it's so on par for Larsa to say this, and he might have sent them to her,
Well, yeah.
but she's going to
She's gonna control
demonize
the
him.
narrative. And it's not she doesn't I don't think is gonna have to work that hard with how we've seen things pan out with him recently. The DUI or DWI that he just got arrested for, the photos of him with the powder and stuff.
Cocaine, yeah.
Yeah. So I think she will have a fairly easy time framing him in whatever way she wants to. If he I would be surprised if he says anything to counter it.
Yeah, I think he should just move on and
I
let
think he
Larsa be
should just
Larsa.
yeah, I agree.
We see the new housewife, Stephanie. We know that she's Anthony's ex. We also see Dr. Nicole come on. She makes
Mhm.
she makes a comment about Stephanie, like she's curious to see. There must be a lot of similarities if he
Mhm.
dated both of them. To that I say, as a person who has dated all types of people, that is not true. Like if you saw my dating roster, you'd be like,
Huh?
"What's the through line here?" And to that I say, it's vibes and the essence of
Love is
someone that
love.
I'm into. But I am curious about that. Stephanie seems to embody so far, and it's very little, but from what we see, all the characteristics of a housewife.
Mhm.
Not relatable in any way, and that is what I want.
Wealth, which is what I was look, I love Dr. Nicole, so seeing her in this appearance in the cameo in the trailer was nice. I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna get a lot of her. The Stephanie lady seems to bring the wealth that Dr. Nicole has, so she'll be filling that void.
Yeah.
But I do hope to see Dr. Nicole in some
I do too.
regards
I
because
like
I
her
think
too.
she's a good housewife. She's sound of mind. She's funny and like wealthy, like
Yeah.
everything you need.
Larsa, I thought this was interesting in it. Larsa accuses
Yeah.
Jody of being a social climber and says he's on all of Lisa's business calls. The first part is the former is interesting to me, the social climber. The latter part, I'm kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't describe Lisa as a businesswoman,
Ye
and he's obviously a successful man and he's built his wealth on being a business guy. So why would he not be on his calls? To me, being on business calls doesn't make you a social climber. Now, if he is insisting always being her plus one and by her side and at every single event and behind the camera during her ITMs and stuff like that, then yeah, maybe he is. But also, that's not shocking. A lot of times when you see someone who has built success in one area, sometimes those people want to tap into what they can, and that
Mhm.
might be fame or, society in certain ways that they can't necessarily buy themselves
Mhm.
into. So it's not shocking.
No, look, Larsa's gonna Larsa, and she is someone that I think is easily finds herself jealous of her friends and what their friends have. And knowing absolutely nothing going into this season, I think Jody seems like a good partner for Lisa. Like you said, he is independently wealthy, like, and he is a businessman. I don't have any problem with him stepping in and like trying to help Lisa make proper
Sure.
financial decisions and business wise. And to me, feels like Larsa might see that and wish that she has someone like that in her corner, but instead she's dating nothing but younger former
Mm.
basketball players. So I'm gonna preliminarily stand on Lisa's side with this. I could be wrong because Lisa's also crazy. Like, I could be wrong, but I am interested in seeing this demise. And what we didn't see a lot in the trailer either, though, I think was like Adriana and
Julia.
Julia's feud. So I wonder how much it starts on camera, if anything.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. It could be off after the
After
filming.
everything aired or whatever. Yeah, I'm excited. The trailer didn't like get me that excited for the show, but like
I'm ready for
I'm
it.
ready. It's been a long time since we've had Miami
And
on,
we didn't
so
even mention Gertie. Like, there's so many women
yeah.
on here. I mean, we see Gertie going
And
through
Kiki.
still her breast cancer journey, and you're right, we didn't see a lot of Kiki, so hopefully we do get a lot of them still. I will say that Larsa Marcus Jordan is a social climber as well, so
Yes, that's
relax.
what I mean. Like she projects a lot of what's going on with her internally and in
Right.
her life onto the other women. Which yeah, Larsa would
Relax.
never be a friend of mine.
Relax, yeah. Watch What Happens Live. We're doing a lot of Watch What Happens Live
It's
work.
making news.
Brittany was on Watch What Happens Live and, you know, kinda said the things we would expect her to say. She's not gonna reconcile with Jax. It is very obvious Brittany has moved on. She's hit her limit. She was asked about his stamina in the bedroom. I don't know why that question was asked, and I do not care. Like, if she's done with him, she's done with him. Who cares if they had bad sex
It was the
or whatever?
shady revenge dress that asked that question. It was Kristen donated her quote unquote green revenge dress. Remember when she went back? And so they did a segment, Shady Revenge Dress asked that question. And I saw a funny tweet online of like, someone, I can't, not quoting it verbatim, but like the fact that the sex was not that good, like, I was hoping that the sex would be that good for you to stay around with this, like, asshole.
I well,
Like, how is it that the sex is a
I
3 or a
think
4? And, like, typically,
it's
you're
interesting when people say that. They've been together for what, 10 years? Like, after 10 years, obviously the sex changes. After a kid, obviously it changes. And there are other things that keep you there past sex. So I always find that so interesting.
Yeah.
I am sure they had great sex in the beginning, and I am sure they're so far removed from that.
Yeah.
It's hard for her to remember when it was good.
Yeah.
Even when I think about my exes in the past, like I can't really remember
Yeah.
the sex.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was great, but like I'm only thinking about what I'm having right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
for sure. For sure.
So, of course that's her answer.
And, I've been it's crazy how much Bravo keeps me up at night. I've been thinking about her and Jax, and it's so hard because they have a kid. But the way she should have ran with the Faith video or sound recording or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I recently saw that clip on TikTok and I was like, wow, that was bad.
Yeah, it was bad.
Um and how he weaseled his way back to her, and the things that he was saying then about her are some of the same things that we're hearing him say
Exactly.
now.
That Kristen affirmed,
Yeah. So it's like
confirmed.
how is it that, like, I feel for her what she's going through with him. It's awful. But, like, in some ways, it's you do it to yourself, but then I, think about it, it's like, well, if she didn't forgive and move on, she wouldn't have her son, so it's that tricky thing of, I wonder how much regret she lives with and, the fact that she continued on this relationship with him,
I'm sure she does.
but then you look at your son, and then does that all that regret go away? Like, I don't
Yes,
yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it does. Yeah. Like she's not gonna regret her son, but yes, I'm sure there are
It's
regrets.
such a tricky,
Um,
ugh.
for sure. But maybe like she's happy she had Cruz, but Cruz is what, 3? So
Mhm.
maybe like staying as long as she did
Yeah,
after.
yeah.
But I also understand that. One of the things that kind of caught up that led into some other news of the week, or that came from this interview with Brittany that led into the more news of the week, is that she was asked about Stassi,
Mhm.
and so she hasn't heard directly from Stassi about the divorce, but they have run into each other and they're friendly, but there's nothing more on that. And as a reminder to those, remember Jax and Brittany were invited to Stassi's wedding overseas in Italy, and they had RSVP'd, but like less than a week maybe.
Like, the day that they were supposed to get on the
They
plane.
pulled out and they blamed it on Cruz's passport and saying that they couldn't get there. But I guess Brittany kind of alluded that that had to do with Jax, which is not shocking at all.
Yeah.
But we mentioned Stassi, and
Mhm.
Stassi, we haven't ever really talked about her, I feel like, on Morally Corrupt. Definitely not the News of the Week version.
Yeah.
But Stassi's name comes up in News of the Week because Vanderpump Villa's on. You're watching it, Chelsea.
Mhm.
I am not. But Stassi and Beau are in Italy. And is that where Vanderpump Villa is?
Yeah,
Okay.
this is my first time watching it. I think they're in France the first season, now they're in Italy.
Okay. But while they were in Italy, Stassi and Beau met up with Beau's sister, and Beau met his sister later in life, but they have a super, super close relationship.
Mhm.
And upon seeing each other, they run off and go get tattoos, matching tattoos together. And Stassi was very upset, and she expressed this on there. And then I guess Beau trying to make amends. I guess a tattoo is a dragon tattoo. You can explain
Yeah,
further.
yeah. So I'll go. So yes. So he has an Italian sister. Beau's Italian.
Oh, so she lives over there.
Yeah, she lives over
Oh,
there.
okay.
So she's full Italian. I don't know much about Beau's family history, but yeah, they met as adults basically. And they're really close, and they do have each other's names tattooed on their bodies. Um Stassi has said this. I was talking to Kelly about this on Bachelor Party. I still listen to Stassi's podcast on occasion on guest by guest basis. And I have heard her say this before, and how Italian culture with siblings is very different than American culture with siblings.
Mm.
Like they hold hands, they wrap their arms around each other as adults. Like it's very close, and which for Stassi and for many Americans, that's weird. Like that's your brother, like gross. Ew. So she's always kind of felt kind of icky about just the dynamics of how the cultures and relationships are and stuff. And in Vanderpump Villa, she says at times she feels when his sister is around, he caters more to her needs than Stassi's. And so several Aperol spritzes in, she gets a little Stassi Vanderpump Rules-ish, and starts to, like, kind of pick at the fact that, like, why do you have your sister's name tattooed on you? But I'm the mother of both of your children and we're married and you don't have anything of tattooed
Is it
about me.
her name?
Yes, it's her name.
Oh.
Georgie is the sister's name. And in listening to podcast posts, Stassi's like, obviously, like, I don't need him to get the tattoo. Like, in that moment, it would have just been nice if he was like, of course I'll get your name tattooed on me, and then just like moved on. But he was like digging his feet in the ground and like, no, like Jax has your name tattooed on you. I'm not getting your name tattooed.
Still?
I think he got it covered up, but he was basically like, that's the kiss of death. And she's like, I birthed both of your children. Like,
right.
come on. And so it was like, that's what got me to watch, because I saw on Twitter people talking about this relationship dynamic and like, old Stassi's back. So I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm in tune in. She has matured so
I would
much
hope so.
because she was upset, but we've seen Stassi get really upset. And that was not
she
what
called herself the devil.
Yes.
I am the devil.
And don't you forget it. The way she said it was so great. But yeah, she got angry. It was a thing. And it kind of was like they apologized the next day. They moved on. All was great. Like,
Is the show good?
The show is good. I don't need Stassi on reality TV again. And so she was like a guest of the house. The whole premise of the show is it's like kind of a competition series in a way. Like the servers and the people the staff of the villa end up, one person gets a job with Lisa Vanderpump at one of her mini restaurants or whatever.
Okay.
So Stassi was brought on to kind of be like the behind the scenes, like eyes and ears for Lisa. And like kind of give her like, this is what's happening behind, this is who's making out with who, like that type of stuff. And the episode that solely focused on Stassi and her friends, it was a good episode, but I still followed Stassi post her getting kicked off the show. As I said, I still listen to her podcast. She has changed. Drastically is the wrong word. She's still like the basic bitch, ranch loving, Aperol spritz Stassi, but she's not as like mean or like cutting. She like really thinks about what she says, like stuff like that. So and she seems to have a healthy marriage with Beau. Like some of the conversations that they have on the show are like actually really like powerful and I think important conversations that like women and men should be having in their marriages and stuff. So like all that's great. But she's not Michelle and Jessie Lally. She's not Danny and Nia. Like she should not be on reality TV. Like she should take pride in the fact that she has built a healthy life outside of the cameras and just leave it there and still make her money because she still seems to be doing good without the cameras following her. Like I think that's where she should focus her attention on, is just like still creating that brand and lifestyle. Because I haven't seen a dip in her lifestyle since being off the show. So just keep doing that.
Do you think she wants to be back on if this was just a one-time thing?
Oh, so when they announced that she was going to be on Vanderpump Villa, they also announced that she will be doing a reality show with Hulu.
Oh, yeah, I did hear that.
Yeah, so she is doing a reality show with Hulu. The people that she was at the villa with, her friends and family, are, I guess, a part of that reality show, which is interesting. But like, again, it's not... I'll watch an episode, but I don't think I'm fully invested. Like, she's not the Stassi of Vanderpump Rules era. Like, that's the thing. And that's good for her.
Yeah.
Like, that is good for her.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm not taking anything away from, like, that. I just, like, I commend her for seemingly becoming a better person and moving on in her life. And even with the Jax and Brittany of it all, like, Brittany's saying, like, she hasn't reached out to her post, breakup or divorce or whatever. Like, I really do think that Stassi has like tried to like move on and like not have these types of friendships that are toxic and crazy. And even in, again, the after show for the Valley, like I think it was Kristen or someone said like Beau used to be in that group chat with all the 20 guys and stuff like that, and Stassi made Beau leave the group chat because of how like toxic and nasty like the topics of conversations would be.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't want to be in this world.
Yeah.
So like don't be.
Yeah.
you know? So yeah.
I root for her to not be a part of it either.
Yeah.
I guess move past, like, stop trying to bring back the glory days from before.
Yeah.
To your point, she's happily married. 2 kids?
2 kids.
2 kids. Moved on. You're not gonna recreate the magic.
Yeah.
It's just not gonna happen. Give us the new people.
Mhm.
Give us something fresh. So,
And I don't wanna see her life go up in flames. Like, it seems like she did a really good job
with
working on herself these last 5
without the
years
camera.
without the cameras.
Yeah,
Let's not go back to that.
I agree. Okay, well, that was the news of the week brought to you by Diet Coke. Head spinning from all that's going on or because you disagree with all the things that Chelsea said? That means it's time for a Diet Coke break. Diet Coke, make time for you time. All right, so before we get out of here, in honor of Beau tattooing his sister's name on him, and additionally trying to make Stassi happy by getting by taking his dragon tattoo and giving it blue eyes,
Yeah.
which is
Question, you have tattoos.
Yeah.
Do you have any family relatives tattooed on you?
no.
Would you ever?
Why? Maybe a baby.
Your child?
Yeah, like maybe my dog, my
Would
baby.
you
I might do something in memory of someone. Like when my grandmother passed away, I was very close to her, and
Yeah.
I really thought of tattooing like a G on me
Mhm.
or something like that.
Mhm.
But that's as close, more to honor
Yeah, than
than
to,
like
and so with a partner, have you done, like, a couple's tattoo? And maybe not
no,
their name, but, like, you guys got the same thing.
no,
No? So that's something
no.
that's a hard line in the sand.
No, I might get a couple's tattoo. It wouldn't be the name, but
Yeah.
I would maybe matching tattoos or tattoos that are joined in some kind of way and they mean
Mhm.
something. Like if I got a key, he has a lock.
Mhm.
I could absolutely see myself doing
Okay.
like that because that's unhinged behavior that I would do. That is the Scorpio in me, which rules a lot that I write about in my book that would easily do something like that. I wouldn't do a name. So I don't want to seem like I'm above it. I wouldn't do a name, but I would absolutely get a matching tattoo with
Okay.
somebody because I
Okay.
have 5. So I like tattoos.
Yeah,
And I like them to mean something.
yeah.
And maybe that tattoo would turn into regret. I'd look down at it, I like regret.
Yeah,
But I
well,
don't
then you
want a
could,
name.
yeah, I have 3. My
Do you
first
have a couple one?
No, no, no.
Okay.
No, no, no. The first one I got is on my ribs, which I wish was smaller, but I still
Mhm.
like it. I just wish it
My
was
first one
smaller.
was on my ribs too.
Yeah, and then I have one on my foot, and then I have one on my Kobe
Mm.
Bryant tattoo, Mamba mentality, which is like
So in
in
memoriam.
memoriam, and it's like something we should all live our lives by.
Listen, I'm
Give
not
it the
mad
Mamba
at it.
mentality with everything you do. But yeah, I
I'm
have
not mad
3.
at it.
I would do similar to you, but my husband doesn't. He doesn't have any tattoos,
No, that
so
makes
like
sense.
I'm
I
not gonna do that.
almost got on my wedding ring, and
Mm.
thank God I didn't. Something must have known, like me not changing my last name.
Yeah.
Okay, so in honor of all of that, we're going to take a trip down memory lane, or as Belle described it, permanent trip down memory lane. But tattoos, people remove them now. About some of Bravo's most regrettable tattoos. I think the one that I remember the most, because I can't remember all these, is obviously the Bubba butt tattoo
Mhm.
that Tom got and then tried to make it seem like it was like a lovey thing. Like, look, Bubba, I got
E
my nickname for you.
On my butt.
Or your nickname for me on my butt. Like, what?
Gross. I don't love that one. Also, the fact that he got Lisa Vanderpump tattooed on his butt as well, like, later on, weird. I think the worst is the Rand tattoo.
I didn't even know about this one.
I remember her I don't know if she got on the show, but I remember her rebranding it to brand new, which, like, it's not it.
She
Like,
should have just covered it up or
yeah,
removed
with
it.
something, yeah,
Because the R is still capitalized.
and it's very and it's a weird capitalization. Like, it shouldn't be like, it should have all been all caps, probably.
Where is that tattoo on her?
I don't know.
I did not. Don't get a man or woman's name tattooed on you. Just
Mm-mm.
don't do it. It's
Mm-mm.
like they say it's the kiss of death. I'm sure that is not always the case,
Yeah.
but for the most part, it is. So just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Sheena has It's All Happening on
That's a
her
great
arm.
one.
Is it?
I mean, it's a great one because it's given us so much. Like, whenever someone's, like, in Slack, when I get a, like, "Okay, this is a green lit, this is whatever," I reply with a Sheena Shea. It's all happening. Like it works for me, so
No.
I appreciate it.
No, it's like, it's literally the equivalent of getting like word art in your kitchen or house, like, which is fine until there's like, it's too much
It's
of it.
everywhere until it's Brittany's home.
That's too much. And listen, I have words tattooed on me, but that is, no, for me, good as gold I get down with because there's meaning to it. It's your first single. It meant so much. You saw it on the show. That I can get down with. She also has a bat tattoo from her time on The Masked Singer. Like,
that's a weird one. That's a weird one.
Bats are disgusting.
Yeah.
They're diseased. They're hideous.
And how much time did she spend on The Masked Singer?
Like, even like if you dream about bats, like the spiritual meaning isn't great. So like, I don't know how much time she spent on Masked Singer.
Like, it was that impactful of a time in your life?
Yeah.
You've changed so much being on The Masked Singer?
Yeah.
It wasn't Dancing with the Stars.
No, it wasn't. I mean, Teresa and Louise. Pregnancy rain. I was just kidding, guys. I'm not pregnant. I'm literally on my period as we speak. Teresa and Louis have matching tattoos that say Siempre Insieme. I don't know Italian, but it means always together, and the number's 333.
That's cute.
Unless it's not always forever.
But like, if and when they are no longer together, she could just be like Siempre Insieme with my daughters.
Like, it's like if I get one of these tattoos, again, I'm not above it. I don't want it to say things like forever, always, names. That feels way more permanent than like
a lock and key.
Like the keys to success. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like locked and loaded. Like there's ways we could go with this. I don't know. I'm not above it, guys. Like, but you know what's, here's my crazy. I'm like, I would not get their name tattooed. But if a man I'm with wants to tattoo my name on him, I am for it.
Oh, yeah. I have no issue with that.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you sure you don't want my name across your heart?
You want to put it on your forehead?
Neck? Like, I'm all for that.
Yeah, no problem with that whatsoever.
We are hypocrites here on Morally Corrupt. I am sure that's not there are other people that we didn't cover, and I'm sure this will not be the end of someone getting somebody's name or some type of Siempre Insieme on their bodies. But you know what? It makes for great conversations and it makes for a great segment on Morally Corrupt. That is it for us here on our news version of Morally Corrupt. Make sure you guys tune in on Friday to get our recaps. We will be there talking, of course, pretty much all the shows that are going on in the Bravo universe. So make sure you join us there at the end of the week. You guys have a beautiful week. Stay encouraged, stay productive, and don't get a tattoo of somebody's name on you. Yeah, be productive, not permanent. I don't know. I'm trying to relate it back to the show. You guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, bye.
Bye.